exhausted, but here we are. So let's see if we can get some 5x5s, if you guys can see me and hear me, and we'll get the show on the road here. So trying to watch my computer. You know me, computer's behind the camera as usual. All right, I'm seeing some say 5x5s here. I'll see them here. Why don't I see them? This is interesting. Okay, here comes my screen. All right, I see Jacob says 5x5, HJS, Krista J, Grit and Grace, Amish at Heart. Okay, all right, I see a bunch of 5x5s by 5x5. Somebody being a smartass, as usual around here, which is always fun. But yes, okay. Happy Saturday night, guys. As you can imagine, after digging potatoes and then got out and mowed the lawn. Okay, let's hope that didn't kill this. All right, can you guys still hear me? 5x5, see me, everything like that? Just let me know again. Of course, somebody has to call me right at 9 o'clock again. Okay, D's Craft. All right, few of you guys said, okay, good. Okay, all right, good. I'm glad that all worked. So, yes, like I said, digging potatoes, mowing a lawn, just doing crazy stuff around here. Work. And I've been up since, 5 o'clock or thereabouts. So, yeah, it gets to be a long day. And now I see my computer spinning. I hope you guys can still see me. We're having always the fun stuff. All is good. Good evening. 2x4. That doesn't help me at all. 5x5. All right. I'm just trying to watch because I'm seeing my computer spin, which isn't good. I'll try to refresh my screen. Oh, nothing like the good old internet. Hang on, I gotta wait till my computer comes back up because otherwise I can't see the comments. So if I can't see the comments, we have a problem. Bear with me, I'm waiting. All right, there are the comments back. All right, just to double check, somebody type abracadabra and then I know that you guys are seeing me. I see somebody wrote abra. That's good. Okay, good. All right. It looks like it's working again. All right. Well, so much for all of that. I'm not going to waste a whole bunch of time on other crap, but yes, I'm beaten. So here we go. All right. So you guys know what tonight is. We are going to give away two dose Delta 2s. Those are the upgraded, the newest model of the 1300 watt generator. It is expandable, whole 9 yards, plus a solar panel to go with them. These are all from Elliot over at Wellbots because they are having a big sale on it where you can get the Delta 2 plus the solar panel for $799, which is cheaper. You guys remember, what was it, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago? We were buying the Delta 1300, the same size generator, for like $899, and it was refurbished. Now you're getting a brand new one plus a solar panel for $799. I'll take that. Good deal. So, let me remind everybody what has to happen here. Okay. When I flip this over, we will do this through the random comment picker. And for if the idiot who was here last time, it is a random comment picker. Okay. No, I don't pick names or anything like that. That's why you guys see me do it all. In order to be a valid entry, you must have put on, what was it, Friday morning's video, yesterday morning's video, the state in which you live in, must be lower 48, and your favorite soft drink. Okay. That is the only way it's going to be a valid entry. If I pull your name, you will have 3 minutes in which to announce your presence by saying, I'm here, or something of the sorts, in the chat, and that the moderators and I can see you. Now, I say this every time, and there's always people who don't want to listen. Okay, this is going to get you in trouble. When I flip this over for the drawing, please stop making any comments in the chat for the simple reason of we're trying to find the person who won, and when the chat flies by, even though it's in slow mode, it's tough for us to find it. We want to make it easier on the mods and myself to find the winner, to make sure that the winner wins. If you say something, okay, mods, listen to this. If you say something after I say do not say anything else, the moderators are going to put you in a 300-second timeout. That's 5 minutes. So what that means is if your name is drawn, you are not going to be able to announce within 3 minutes that you are here. Okay? So if you want to run your mouth, you'll eliminate yourself from the eligibility to win. That's the only way I can handle this. I've said this too many times, and some people don't want to listen. So, mods, anybody that comments, when I say no more comments, 300-second timeout. Just so you guys have that, okay? All right, so let me flip over the computer and everything here, and we will get the show on the road and draw the first name. So let me flip this over so you can see what I'm doing. We will blow this up so you guys can read it. Not that much. That's close enough. All right. There is the link to the Friday video, which we're drawing all the names from. Okay. And we're going to see how many entries we have. We do not include replies. Everybody gets one entry. And we do not allow duplicates. Okay. It has to be a primary comment and no duplicates. So let's see how many entries we get. And we will count this on up. There's 1,500 coming up. There we go. Okay. 2,000. Still moving. 25. Still moving. 3,000 entries. Still going. 4,086 entries. Okay. Now, you guys are going to hear, moderators, you're going to hear this from me too. As of right now, if you make a comment and you are not the winner, you are getting a 300-second timeout. So take your finger off the button. Mods, from this point forward until we have the winner, anybody gets a timeout. Okay? Like Lorna said, stop chatting. That's it. And here we go. The first winner is, or first potential winner is, RK, Pennsylvania here. I don't really drink soda anymore, but I do enjoy Coca-Cola occasionally. That is a valid entry. So RK, it is 9:07. You have until 9:10 to announce your presence. And he says he is here, or she says, okay. RK, you are the first winner. Congratulations. You've just won yourself a Delta 2 and a solar panel to go with it. Hang tight, because I'll tell you what you need to do as soon as we get the second winner. So let me flip the computer over again. And we will flip the camera over again. And we will close this out. And we will pick a second winner. Okay, guys, again, I'm going to say it right now. Moderators, hear me again. As of right now, anybody that's speaking, 300-second timeout. Okay? Here we go. Here is the next winner. Brenda M. Thank you, Pinball, Mrs. P, and Elliot, for your generosity and all you do for the community. I'm in Pennsylvania, and my favorite soft drink is ginger ale. Brenda M., that is a valid entry. So let's flip this all over. Brenda M., you have until 9:11 to tell me you are here. Brenda M., there she is here. What do you know? We got 2 winners quickly tonight. We didn't have to go through multiple drawings. Good deal. And I see a whole bunch of people still didn't listen to all the rules again. Thank you, moderators, for making sure that they were done. Okay. RK and Brenda M., this is what you need to do this evening or tomorrow morning. Either way, doesn't matter. email me your name, your physical mailing address, no post office boxes because Elliot ships everything FedEx. So your name, your physical mailing address, and your phone number. I will get everything over to them Monday morning. They usually ship around Wednesday, so by next weekend, you will probably have your, I mean, by probably, I mean, maybe it'll be the following Monday, but you will have a brand new Delta 2 and a solar panel to go with it. So congratulations to both of you. If you are looking for my email address, it is below in the description of every video. So pinball preparedness at mail2world.com. All right. Congratulations to everybody, or to both of you, I guess it will. And don't go away too far because, oh, I don't know, I might have something else for Tuesday. And keep going from there. Who knows? We'll see. So, all right. But you guys know we have a lot of fun with all of these, and we've got a couple of, well, actually, there's probably 3 or 4 companies that like to help out the family and stuff like that. So it's always nice when they get a hold of me and say, hey, Pinball, we'd like to do something again. And okay, so we'll go from there. All right, so let's get into regularly scheduled programming, which is Q&A. For all those of you guys that are new here, I will kind of tell you what we do. For all those of you old here, you already know. But what we do on Tuesday nights and Saturday nights is Q&A, your chance to ask me questions or ask each other questions because I don't have all the answers, never profess to. Got some of them, okay? Got some ideas, got some things that I do, but not everything the way I do it is the way everybody does it. So, it's a learning deal here. People have questions. Maybe this is a chance to get some answers. If you have a question for me, please put it in all caps. Okay, it makes it a lot easier for me to go through the chat room here and see what's directed to me. Feel free to have conversations amongst yourselves. I encourage that. Okay, the whole idea here is fellowship, camaraderie, learning from each other, meeting new people, like-minded people. So feel free to have conversations amongst yourselves. The other thing, if you have a question, keep an eye on the chat as well, because I may not have an answer. You may not like my answer, or I may not get to your question. As much as I try to get to most of them, some questions take 3 or 4 minutes to answer. Some take 3 or 4 seconds. But, depending on how many questions we get, I can't get to all of them. So, pay attention to chat. You'll find out some answers in there. So, all right. The only thing I do require, not ask, require, is that everybody treat each other with respect in the chat room. That includes respecting me. Okay. If you want to start out a comment with, hey, asshole, you won't have a chance to say anything after the comma. So the mods will toss you real quick. And that is kind of the rule around here. We are here to help each other, not to insult each other. So if you want to be an ass, you can go do it somewhere else because you ain't doing it here. Sorry, my house, my rules. That's the way it's going to be. So, all right. Let's get to the top. There's a lot of stuff in caps already. So I will go to the end. I'm sorry, the end of all the congratulations. All right. And here we go. Healthy disrespect for authority. Does not having a phone take us out of the running for prizes? No. I mean, I do everything on my laptop. So I don't care if you're doing it on a laptop, if you're doing it on an iPad or your TV or whatever, as long as you can, meet criteria for any contest, wherever I say the location has to be and whatever kind of silly thing I put in to keep the trolls out, and you can answer in the chat that you're here. That's fine. I don't care if you're doing it with carrier pigeons and smoke signals. Doesn't matter to me. As long as I can see you're there, that's good enough. Amish at heart. We were talking about this yesterday. Did you hear that the Wisconsin governor, Tony Evers, expanded school funding per student to $325 until 24-25? Your thoughts? This is what's funny about this, okay? You guys, you have to picture this. Tony Evers has a line item veto authority in Wisconsin. That's what they have. So whoever wrote this bill wrote to expand school funding to $325 until 2024 25. That's how the bill was written. Tony Evers took his line item veto and crossed out the 20 and the dash, which left until 24-25. It'll never stand up, okay? But I think it's absolutely hilarious what he did. Going, okay, I've now got, a line item veto. I'm going to cross out these two numbers and this dash, and I'm going to change the date and make it 300 years in the future, 400 years in the future. Very humorous, but there's no way in the world it's going to stand up in court. So that'll get blown out. Dick Fleisner, do I grind my own grain to make flour? I can. I don't at this point. Okay. As I've said many times about your mag, your group, your family, whatever it is, everybody's got different things that they get. It doesn't make sense for everybody to get cans of tuna fish. Okay. If one person gets cans of tuna fish and one person gets, I don't know, cans of SpaghettiOs, that works great too, because you're going to share everything. So, I've got plenty of flour. I mean, pre-ground flour in Mylar bags and buckets. I know Mr. and Mrs. Mountaintop Preps have plenty of wheat berries and they keep buying it. Okay. So there's inevitably something that they're going to have or they have that I'm going to need, and I have something that they're going to need. So, not that it's a barter between the four of us, but we know our stuff is compatible. Let's put it that way. Terry Hardaway, is vulcanization coming? Okay, vulcanizing is something you do to rubber, so I don't know exactly what you're talking about. Neuron Web, is trimming pole beans recommended when they get too tall? Yeah, you can top any vegetable plant. I mean, when you're topping the plant, what you're going to do is prevent it from growing any further north, if you will, and it'll continue to bush out more, get you more lateral growth, everything, so you'll get a bushier plant. But yeah, I mean, what's the point of having a pole bean plant that's 12 feet high if all you've got is a 6-foot ladder and you can't reach the top and get a bunch of beans that way? It makes no sense. So yeah, cut it before it gets unmanageable, and that way, you'll get the bushiness, the energy will be put into the bushiness to grow it laterally. Hard Styles, thoughts on cluster bombs going to Ukraine? Don't you love how Joe talks out of both sides of his mouth? It was just a couple of years ago that he was saying that, it was war crimes using cluster bombs. There's like 140 nations in the world that have outlawed the use of cluster bombs. And in case you guys don't know what a cluster bomb is, okay, cluster bomb is something that where you drop a bomb, you fire a bomb, whatever it would be, explodes in the air and then has bomblets, littler bombs that kind of scatter to the four winds and explode. So I mean, they hit a lot of civilian targets. There's no accuracy to them. It's like, oh, we're going to put this one over New York City, and you don't know if it goes from Park Avenue to Fifth Avenue. Nobody get on me about not knowing my streets in New York. I've been there once. Okay, you don't know if you're going to hit Central Park or where you're going to hit Lower Manhattan or what. It's just they just go randomly. But yeah, so after Joe calling it war crimes to use it a few years ago, now Joe wants to send them to Ukraine. I mean, in the dictionary, right next to hypocrite is the picture of the Democratic jackass. So it's unbelievable. Originally, when this all started, 16 months ago or whatever it was, we were going to send uniforms and medical supplies to Ukraine. Now we're talking about sending F-16s and cluster bombs. You don't think Joe wants a war? I mean, did you see Lindsey Graham today? Lindsey Graham's trying to get a resolution on the Senate floor that the United States demand Ukraine be allowed to join NATO. Most of the senators are saying no. Pretty much most of the country's saying no. But Lindsey Graham is such a pansy ass, he's like, oh my God, my retirement plan. I'm invested in Raytheon and Lockheed Martin. I need this. Unbelievable. Francis Green, do I get the gypsy moth invasion? No, I don't. I haven't had one yet. God knows I got the Japanese beetle invasion going on. Yeah, beetle mania going on in my backyard. So, Fat Daddy's outdoor cooking. How do I control the worms uh, in my corn? Uh, what you talking? I know what you're talking about. Going right into the tops of the ears of the corn and starting to eat the uh, top kernels and stuff like that. I forget. I don't have the issue. Uh, I mean, mind you, this: if you peel an ear and the first couple of rows of corn are gone off the tip, just cut that tip off. It's fine. It's not going to bother you the rest of the corn at all. There is something, and I forget what the hell is it. I don't remember if it's neem oil or something, but there's something that you can put on the silks where it'll basically suffocate or kill worms. I'm not sure what it is. Maybe somebody else can tell you what it is. Let's see. Mama asks, Pinball, what's the outlook on sugar and rice? I haven't heard anything at all on sugar shortages or anything. I've talked in the spring about rice and the problem that they're having in Asia about rice. The advantage we have here in the States is we grow a lot of it here. Ironically, we actually are an exporter of rice. We grow so much of it, and of all places, Arkansas. Uh, I never knew that. I mean, that was kind of eye-opening to figure that one out. But I have not heard anything about any problems with sugar or rice. It's me. Funny about how about 1,000 people left after the drawing. I've questioned that before, and I know there's some people that just come in to see if they won something and they take off. Okay, and there's nothing I can do to prevent it. I've also been told by many of you that a lot of people will log out of the computer or their phone or whatever and watch the live stream on their television. And I get that. I can respect that totally because it's a lot easier to watch something on a TV than it is on a phone. If you want to comment, you can't really do it on the TV, but you can do it, on your phone or your computer. Juju Mama, best way to get rid of squirrels. I'm about to go hunting. Well, maybe you're about to go hunting squirrel. 22? 22 or a border collie. One of the two. They'll both work well. Mima was at a local butcher shop today, and he said he was going to be raising prices on hamburger again. I was telling you guys about this about a week or so ago, is that we are going to see a trough in prices, and then we're going to see a big spike in prices because we are going through the same issue this summer that we went last summer with the cost of feed, and the drought doesn't help for grass-fed beef or anything like that. You're going to have a lot of cattle that are going to be calves that are going to be sent to slaughter, and then there's not going to be enough breeding stock left, and that's going to obviously raise the price of beef again. Tug Hill, why are my tomato blooms drying up? Chances are they're not getting pollinated. If it's the female flower will open up and wait for a couple of days to be pollinated, but if it doesn't get pollinated, it'll shrivel up and die, and that's the end of it. So my guess is you don't have the bees, the butterflies, or anything like that coming doing it. What you can do, get a Q-tip or something along those lines, rub it inside the male flower, then take the Q-tip and go rub it inside the female flower, pollinate it yourself. You can also just pull the male flower off the plant altogether, pick off the leaves, and then just tap the male flower, what's left of the male flower, into the female flower and fertilize your tomatoes that way. That's if they're female flowers that are drying up, that's your problem. You're not getting pollination. Carol Isberg, have I tried a fall potato crop? I did last year, and I didn't have quite enough time. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna put. What was that? Said it was to put. I know I got to put beets in. Uh, I got to put more cabbage in. I think I said I was gonna put some pumpkins in and just what the hell, see if I can grow some pumpkins for a fall crop, just for something. Because my theory on that was, if I get pumpkins, great. If I don't, I'm gonna have a whole lot of organic matter that I can put into my gardens. Moonlight Gardener, thank you for the super chat, and I appreciate the sentiment there. It says, so grateful for you and Mrs. P. Thanks for all you do. Thank you. That's sweet. Uh, Debbie Yvonne, how do I store flour and how long does it last? Store it in a Mylar bag inside a 5 gallon bucket. That's the best way to do it. Take O2 absorbers, get all the air out of it, and keep it that way. Mylar bag, no oxygen will keep it from spoiling. The plastic bucket will keep the rodents or anything like that from getting into. And flour should last you somewhere between 10 and 15 years in Mylar. Jay Myers, Pinball, have you gotten any of this rain or has it gone south of your area? We got some. It started here right around 6 o'clock. It didn't rain hard, but we got it. It rained enough that it chased us in the house. So, and it rained for maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours. Nicole Vroman, what would be causing my zucchini to have end rot? That's a new one. I've never run across zucchini with end rot. If that's actually what it is, I mean, end rot's caused by lack of calcium. So go make the eggshell and vinegar concoction that I showed you, the sodium acetate or calcium acetate. What I showed to you guys about a month ago. Do that and then water your zucchini with that, and hopefully that'll solve your problem. Pennsylvania Rambler potato video was great. Thank you. I hope you guys got something out of that. I mean, it's okay. This is, like I said, I actually do this stuff. Okay. But, a lot of people I know throw away the green potatoes or throw away the small potatoes. And the whole point that you got to remember, guys, is what you're trying to grow is food. All right. We're not trying to win blue ribbons or, get our crops put on the grocery store shelves because they look so pretty and have no taste. Okay. We're looking for something that we can eat, tastes good, saves the budget, and could feasibly save our life. And the skills that you're gaining now and growing stuff could save your life in the future. Just wanted to say thanks. The eggshells and vinegar worked great. Good. There you go. We're just talking about that. Redneck Renegade, what do I know about the United Nations power grab? Oh my God, are we going into this again? Okay. No, Joe Biden did not sell our sovereignty to the United Nations. None of this. He has no authority to do it. He can't override the Constitution. Joe can't just decide that we're giving our government up to the UN. There's nothing like that. We can't give our government up to the World Economic Forum. Sorry, the UN can do whatever they want in the other 193 countries in the world. I don't give a shit. Okay, they can't touch the US. Right? End of story. Florida Mama Bear, what do I use to fertilize my potatoes? Nothing. I mean, literally, I put them in rich soil. I mean, like I said in the video today, I dig a trench, I throw the tomatoes in the trench, I cover them up, and I forget about them. I come back 90 days later, and I dig up my potatoes. I mean, that's it. There's no extra fertilizers or anything, as long as you've got decent soil. And I don't have the greatest soil in that garden. We were still trying to get through clay and stuff, but I mean, I'm building that soil up with grass clippings and straw and manure and everything over time. But I've probably only got maybe 4 to 6 inches of good soil in that before I get down to native soil. Salty Blank Zero, a gift from my favorite troll. Thank you, sir. If I've got a favorite troll, you can be it. I got plenty of trolls that aren't here anymore. We made sure to get rid of them. Thomas Sieben, hello from Wisconsin. Pinball and currently bass fishing. Oh, I remember the days of the white bass run up in Wisconsin. So, yes, I hope you're going after some white bass. RL, June bugs, Japanese beetles are crazy here. Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm out there spraying every other day trying to get rid of these things. South Colorado Stetter, what feed are you using for my fish in my pond? It's was it Purina something Max starter food? I mean, it looks like, I got how to describe the size of it. Uh, can't think of anything that's about the same size. Uh, a little bit bigger than salt, I guess we'd put it there. I think it's 38% protein or something like that. But it's Aqua Max or something like that. Starter fish food. Uh, yeah, Wanda the chicken lady. Great job on the potatoes. I had duds this year, not spuds. I probably threw away about 10 pounds worth of them that had scab on them or had gotten eaten by something or whatever. And I mean, that's normal. I mean, a 10% crop loss is normal. You're going to lose some of your corn. You're going to lose some of your potatoes, your peppers, your tomatoes, whatever it is. You know, that's just the way it is. But uh, nice to have another haul of potatoes and get me through. If we eat the same amount as last year, get me through April of next year. So, all right. Oh, very thirsty today. Janice Kirk, all my okra seedlings. I'm going to stop you right there because I hate okra, so I can't tell you squat about them. All my okra seedlings still have the seeds on the head. Should I remove them? I'm not the person to answer okra questions. I'm just telling you. Okay. I don't like okra. I have never tried to grow it in my life. I couldn't tell you the slightest thing on how to grow it. E. Brannon, hey, what was your MOS? Retired 12B here. Okay, so the combat engineer asks the 97 Echo interrogator on this end. Uh, Vivian Parrish, I may sound stupid, but what is 5 by 5? It means loud and clear. It means you can see me and hear me. Uh, Ann Palmer, my fruit trees that I planted last year are sprouting from the base. Should I trim these sprouts off? And if I do you think they would root? I planted apple and peach. If you're talking about little branches or whatever it is, yeah, cut those off. You really want to get rid of any of the branches until your main Y in the tree. And no, you're not going to root something like that. Jay Hunter, hey Pinball, concerning your video today about wheat, Troyer's Amish store have 50-pound bags of wheat. Listening and taking action. Picked one up after your video. Okay, Jay Hunter, if you could share with where Troyer's Amish stores are, and if people can order it online or anything like that, that would be helpful. If they've got a website or something like that, just let us know if they do, because I've never heard of it. So, doesn't mean they don't exist, just means I've never heard of it. So a lot of people probably haven't either. Suburban Hillbilly, have I heard complaints about mislabeled seeds this year? I've planted what was supposed to be bush beans and I have a tangled mess of pole beans. Yeah, I've heard, I mean, Danny and Wanda talked about that last year. They were trying to grow wax beans and got all sorts of different types of green beans and stuff. I don't know if it was one seed company or anything like that, but there seems to be a lot of just jumbled up bean seeds in the last couple of years. So, fortunately, I saved my own seeds. So, if I get jumbled up seeds, I eat my tomatoes. It's my own damn fault. Robert Bates, just so you know, I used the sardines this year on tomatoes and did my own control layer experiment. Tomatoes with sardines are 4 or 5 times the size. The tomatoes are 4 or 5 times the size, or the plant. I've got to think you're talking tomatoes. But sure, I mean, planting sardines under tomato plants, under pepper plants, or something like that. Yeah, I mean, that's just, I mean, fish heads or anything you get, the fish guts if you go fishing, little bluegill, whatever. I mean, that's just great natural nutrition for that plant to just go lunch and chow right into. Yeah, they're gonna love it. So cool. Glad to hear that one. Western Michigan Preparedness. How long does all-purpose flour last in a vacuum-sealed Mylar bag with O2 absorbers? Should be about 10 to 15 years. Kentucky Believer, have I had any time to study for my ham radio license? I haven't done any this week, so I'm still sitting, I think, on chapter 9, going through there. Uh, Husker DD, will an EMP take out a solar generator? Probably. Okay. I'm going to say that because it's electronic components. Again, the thing is, there's no guarantees that anything's going to do anything because we've never experienced an EMP. Sure, they've tested things in labs and everything like that. That's great. But as I've said many times, as much as we can talk about Faraday cages or, homemade garbage can, cardboard, aluminum foil contraptions or anything like that, it's better than not doing anything, but there's no guarantee it's going to work. Okay, so as long as people have a realistic expectation of things, that's great. Will it take out a solar generator? I suppose it would, but I'm not going to tell you absolutely 100%. Here's how you fix it. Okay. Reverse Snowbird, is Tennessee my forever home now? Yes, I'm not moving again. I'm done moving. I put way too much work into this property to ever leave it. The only way I'm leaving this is when I'm called home. That's it. We shot to the bottom. Where did we? Yep, we shot to the bottom. Okay. Winona Halen, how do you watch on TV? If you've got some internet connected television, and go to YouTube on TV and find the video and watch it that way. Debbie Henderson, do I use seed potatoes or grocery store potatoes for planting? I use my own seed potatoes, like I showed you today. I save my green potatoes. I save some of the smaller potatoes, and I'll just save those over the winter. And next year, those will be the ones I plant. So I use my own seed potatoes. I mean, and again, it's just like saving seed for anything else. After you do it a few years, those plants have now got acclimated to your soil, to your climate, and you're going to have healthier, stronger, more disease resistant and pest resistant plants because they're now used to the microclimates in my yard versus the climate in southeastern United States. Just because my seeds came from Georgia doesn't mean that they're used to Tennessee soil or Tennessee climate or anything like that. But if they came from garden number 1 and they went into garden number 2, they're probably pretty good. Joe Sanders, Pinball, why is my jambalaya okra pods going soft after a few hours of picking them? No clue. Don't do okra. Sorry. Twisted Fence Post, how often should you water with calcium acetate? You should only need to do it once. Once you've put the calcium into the soil, I mean, you should be good for the life of the plant. The life of the plant is one season. Okay. Kay Island said about the worms and corn. Yeah, it was okay. She's saying it was neem oil. I couldn't remember if it was specifically, but yeah, okay, neem oil in the plants. Okay. Silver Graham, not a gardening question. That's fine. But did you hear that they shut down CERN? Why do I know what CERN is and I don't know what it is? No, I haven't, and I can't even comment on it because either I'm having a brain fart or I just don't know what CERN is. Janet Ross potato video was educational and appreciated, and it's fun. I know sometimes you guys like the garden videos and things, so I do those too. Low and Pinball, what to do for too much rain? Garden looking yellow. Yeah, that's too much rain that's a difficult one. You hope you have well draining soil. If you've got clay soil, you got problems. If you know there's tons of rain coming in the forecast, excuse me, build a lean-to with plastic sheets or something like that. Put a tarp over the garden to let so your garden doesn't flood out. But if it's already rained on the garden, there's not a whole lot you can do. I mean, it's like splitting tomatoes. You guys know why tomatoes split is because they've gone from dry and all of a sudden they get a ton of moisture and the plant sucks up all that moisture. It causes the tomato to basically explode. Yeah, those are common problems. There's not a whole lot you can do. If you haven't stopped the rain before it got to your garden, you just got to pray to God for a lot of hot, sunny days. Uh, oh, great bearded one. How much of the beet plants do you eat? I've always done the root and the leaves, but recently learned the larger leaf stems can be chopped for a celery substitute. Yeah, you can actually eat the entire plant from a beet. Okay. Uh, whatever. I mean, the entire plant is edible. So, yes, you can. Carol Lewis says you can get wheat berries from Palouse brand. Okay. So, anybody who's listening looking for wheat berries, Palouse, Palouse. Moving on down. Del Daggett, all that hard work today will feed you and Mrs. P well this winter. Yeah, trust me. Some of that will be going in the soup. I mean, all the beets we got. Now we got the potatoes. I've got the onions. We got the cabbage. So there's probably borscht in the canner here pretty soon. Julie's Shuga. I'm going to take a guess. Good evening. Have you made a video canning potatoes? I don't know if I made one on canning potatoes, but I mean, canning potatoes is pretty simple. Peel them, cut them, throw them in the jar, water, salt, and can them. I mean, that's not a difficult one. Salty Maynard, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate all that you do. You're my go-to for inspiration and information. Been in Maine my entire life and it hurts me, but thinking about moving, I fear we're going from purple to blue. You're not going from purple to blue. You're already there. So, unfortunately, I mean, Angus King saying he's an independent is, like AOC saying she's independent. Bear Wilkie, thank you for the super sticker as well. Appreciate that. Elo talks. Pinball was wrong in that tomato flower drop problem is not due to non-pollination. Tomatoes self-pollinate. Flower drop is due to heat or low calcium. No. Sorry. No. Carol Lewis, does anyone know how to get rid of earwigs? I would. If you got earwigs, that's one that I'm gonna defer to go to 7 again. Yeah, and spray the plant with 7 to get rid of them. Scott Graham, hey Pinball, if my potatoes don't flower before yellowing, do I have an issue? Nope, not at all. Sometimes the potatoes will flower, sometimes they don't. But you don't have to worry about it. You're not looking to save potato seed. Potatoes actually do create seed. Don't ever try growing potatoes from seed. Use seed potatoes. But no, if your potatoes don't flower before yellowing, go ahead. You're fine. Don't worry about it. Michigan daffodil. What seeds are the easiest or the hardest to keep and store from our own garden? It's not what's easiest or hardest to keep and store. It's how to do it right. Okay. And this is the problem. Too many people think, oh, okay, I've got my vegetable and there's seeds in it. I'm going to save the seeds. And that doesn't work. You literally need a vegetable to almost start to rot before it's got viable seeds. Cucumbers must be a golden yellow before they're viable seeds. When we're pulling them as green fruit, that's an immature plant. Those seeds are not mature. They're not going to grow anything. Peppers are the same. You need a good, like a green pepper. You need a good dark green pepper. If it turns to red or something like that, that's when you know. But you're almost looking for the fruit to rot before the seeds are viable. Tomatoes, maybe not so much, but tomatoes, those are a little harder to do. You have to know how to ferment the seeds. You have to know how to strain dry the seeds. I've done videos on that before. Some seeds are very easy to save, like pumpkin seeds, real simple. You take your pumpkin, you pull the seeds out, you let them dry, you're done. Squash, anything like that, real easy. But yeah, the hardest part for everybody is knowing when the plant is ready for seeds. And if you just kind of use it once the plant's starting to turn bad that you don't want to eat it, that's when it's good for seed. Minnesota prepping. How is the best way to save potatoes for seed for the next year? I mean, literally, all we did with them last year is we just put them in one of those plastic totes, things. I don't know how you describe this. Was it, 12 by 24 or 16 by 24 or something, plastic tote. I just threw all my potatoes in there. They literally sat in the corner of the living room all year until next year. And by the time I planted them, they had green stalks on them about that big. They weren't white from being in the dark. I just planted those and they were fine. They didn't have to do anything. They just sat in a relatively dark corner. Okie Forge, do I use a potato fork or a shovel to dig potatoes? I use a potato fork, but either one of them's fine. Missy Eckerman, what is my favorite food and wine? My favorite wine would be a good Chardonnay, preferably an Australian Chardonnay. My favorite food, give me oysters on a half shell. Give me those together. Give me oysters on a half shell and a good cold glass of Chardonnay. I'll be a happy pup. Yarn Prepper, my 4 o'clock flowers from your seed exchange. You're doing fantastic. Thank you. You had to throw that in there, didn't you? The seed exchange. The boxes that somebody stole. Yeah, okay. That never made it to everybody. Let's see. Prep Rebel, thank you for the super chat for the Christmas fund. Thanks for all you both do. That will get added to the kitty. Let's see. WTH, do I know of any reputable online butchers? No, I don't think there's any such thing as an online butcher. Would you please cut me up some meat and mail it to me? Yeah, no, I want it a little fresher than that. I don't know. You did have, what was that one company? I forget the name of them, that Omaha Steaks, but they're just so ridiculously expensive. It's like, here, for only $94, we'll send you 4 chicken breasts, 4 hamburgers, and 4 hot dogs. I'm going, cool. I can go to the store and get that for about $8. Blacksmith, I have sweet potato vines growing all over the top of the ground. Perfect. Then you've got sweet potatoes growing. That's exactly what sweet potatoes are supposed to do. Vines like crazy. They'll make it all up. Come the end of the year, you're just going to go through, literally cut all those vines off the top, throw them off to the side, and start digging. That's if you've got them growing all over the place, good. Justin Mitchell, I picked up some trees on sale and they look kind of bad. Anything I can do? Plant them, give them a couple of fertilizer spikes, water them, and see what happens. Train them up, trim them up. If you got dead branches on there, cut the branches off. Let it focus on growth. KS1 Big Dad, hey Pinball, picked up 17 buckets of wheat berries from an auction site for $6 a bucket. It's a great, I'm assuming it's your regular size bucket, but great price. I personally grind up a few of them and just make sure that they're good, that they're actually what you thought they were too. Let's see. Tammy Merritt, oh no, you and Mrs. P need to go to Troyer's. It's in Greenville, Tennessee on the main road going right through town. Maybe that's, okay. I know we went to an Amish store that was like 2 hours away from here once. Maybe that's what it was. I don't know. All I can say is I wasn't impressed with the store. If that's the same one. So Chief's Way, do I have videos on collecting your own seeds? Yeah, if you go into the gardening playlist, there's a couple of them. Let's see. Simpler Times Homestead. I'm in Tennessee. What's the best time to root blueberry cuttings? I don't know. I've never done it here. I don't want to lie to you, so I can't give you the answer on that one. Chickadee, I buried all my freezer burned meat under my squash. They're growing crazy good. Okay. I'm surprised. I mean, I'm shocked that you haven't had animals come in and dig up your garden. I'm completely dumbfounded that that didn't happen. But hey, if it worked, it worked. It's not that you're not going to find anybody that's going to recommend doing that. But hey, if it works, it works. Uh, I wouldn't advise going on. Hey, you know what? I'm going to go out and buy a couple of T-bones so I can grow my tomatoes this year. Probably not. Probably not too cost effective. Michelle Sharp, what causes jalapenos to be tiny at harvest? Mine don't grow to full size. I'm going to take a guess that it's, I mean, I don't know your garden, but probably a lack of phosphorus or lack of potassium fertilizer, because I mean, that's the fertilizer that you're going to need to grow your fruits. So that would be my guess. Uh, yeah, there you go. Whoops, RLRL. That just shot to the bottom at the same time. He said when he pumps his aquariums, saves the water from the aquarium for fertilizer. So, yeah, it's all the fish emulsion in there. That stuff's great. Let's see if I can get back up to the top here. How far can I get up to the top? Okay, here we go. Nanny Tam says, do potato plants have to bloom in order to grow potatoes? Nope, not at all. Same question as before. Don't need flowers. That's, not all of them will. RD, potatoes from the store will not grow. That is not true. If you can get the potato to chit, the potato will grow. I've done it before many times. Jenny Syriacs, where do you purchase pond supplies? We want to clean up our small pond. Uh, I don't, I don't know what pond supplies. I mean, there's not a whole lot. I mean, there's nothing in the way of pond supplies I bought other than sealant. So I can't give you an answer to that. Jay Myers, banana peppers crossbreed with hot peppers? Sure. If you got them close enough. I mean, I've had them done it in the past where my banana peppers have come out hot like jalapenos because I had them planted too close together and they actually crossbred. Not that year, the next year when you're saving seed. Okay. So, like this year, I know I can't save any tomato seed because I got my tomatoes mixed up. So I've got Saccharnies growing next to Siberian Earlies, growing next to my Bartellis. So I know any sort of seed that I have out of any tomatoes I have this year will be Franken tomatoes, but the tomatoes will still come true to form this year. Just the seeds will be weird. Uh, Okay, Lady C says zucchini splits also when there's a lot of rain. Yeah, it's another one that does it because zucchini will grow so fast. I mean, you guys know you could have a zucchini that's 3 inches long today and it'll be 9 inches long tomorrow. You get a ton of water in there, they'll grow extremely fast. Let's see. Hard Styles, did I decide on a privacy hedge on my property border? Yeah, I planted it a couple of years ago. We were putting evergreens all the way around. I've already planted like 90 of them. So even showed you, I showed you that video 2 years ago. Sue Me, have I made a video of the canned borscht recipe? Yep, if you go into the playlist, Cooking with Mrs. Pinball, you will see her recipe on borscht and how to can it and everything. Susie D, question, all your potatoes, how long will they keep before canning? Well, I don't know, you say keep before canning. I really can't say that because I'll go through my potatoes after they cure here. We'll pick out the ones that we want to eat fresh. We'll pick out the ones that we want to can. We'll pick out the ones we want to freeze. And we'll pick out, if any, that we want to store in a root cellar. If we got too many that we want to eat fresh, the big ones is what we'll save in a root cellar. Anything that's like, oh, I don't know, 3 inches or smaller, those we can. Okay. It's just easier to do it that way. They're too little to save for uh, baked potatoes. So we just slice those up and can them up. But we don't save them. I mean, they'll be canned next weekend. So I can't say how long they keep because after they cure, we'll sort all the potatoes. The ones that get canned get canned. Fastball 2611. Do I have any information on the collapse of the Netherlands government today? Apparently, this was over their government. There's multiple political parties. I mean, it's a parliament again. Like most of Europe, we're different. But the ruling party, the prime minister's party, could not get the votes to pass their immigration plan because the Netherlands is struggling with all the people coming from North Africa and coming from Ukraine, and they're taking up all the housing. They're destroying the economy. Who would ever thought that would happen? But they couldn't get a consensus amongst the four parties on what to do. So the entire ruling party has tendered their resignation to the king. And not that that means anything. They'll stay in power until special elections can be held. I think that's going to be in November. But the guy who's the prime minister right now will be still ruling his party. And if they get elected again, he'll be prime minister again. Just to give you an idea, this is the third time since 2012 his party has all tendered their resignations. They get voted back in and they go right back to work. Okay, so it's it's not as big of a deal as you think it is. Let's see. Beth Wolpert, can you cut leaves back on rutabagas like tomatoes? I don't know. I don't grow rutabagas, so I cannot be happy. Cannot give you a good answer on that one. Let's see. Disney up, boiler up. How do I save pea seeds? Okay, so you're a couple, maybe 3 weeks, 4 weeks behind me. Let your peas dry out as much as they can on the vine. Okay. If they get all the way brown, that's great. If they don't leave them there until the critters start eating them, like happened to me. Okay. Pick them, put them out on, a cookie sheet or something like that. Let them sit in the sun, let them dry out. Once they are brown so that the pea pod is like paper, peel them up. You should have nice dry olive green seeds inside, and then just put those in a Ziploc bag and save them for next year. Okay, Chief's Way says diatomaceous earth is great for earwigs. Okay, I've never used it for earwigs, but okay, but I don't have earwig problems. I'll see one occasionally, but no problems. We just talked about the Dutch government. Do. Michael Carroll, first time growing tomatoes. What do we do to trim the growth? Okay, this is a little difficult to explain. You need to take the suckers off. Okay, you have your main stem, you have a branch. Okay, and then there's going to be, try to do this on camera. There's going to be a sucker in between. Mrs. P calls them stepsons. This one. All right. You need to break those out. Okay, those are not going to produce any fruit for you. This is your vertical growth for the size of the plant. This is the growth where your tomatoes are going to grow. All this stuff, get rid of. I know that's hard to visualize, but that's about the best way I can do it. Rebecca Stanley, I finally found myself back. Got a bunch of ads and an error 503, and then I was gone or booted. Okay, I have no idea what you're talking about. All right. TB, going to say it again, self-pollinate with an electric toothbrush. Yep, that's another way of doing it. It's just adding more technology to something that a Q-tip will do just as well. Let's see. Judy Reynolds, my second year parsley bolted, just self-seeded my parsley for next year. There you go. Dog mom, is it okay if sweet potato vines are flowering? Absolutely. Sweet potatoes are actually flowers. Okay, the plants are part of the morning glory family. So yeah, enjoy the flowers. They're pretty, but it doesn't have any effect whatsoever on you growing sweet potatoes. Just enjoy the beauty of the garden at that point. Uh, Forever Freedom 1776. How do I prepare potatoes for the freezer? Do we partially cook them first? No. The only potatoes I freeze are the little marble-sized ones, and those we just throw into a bag. You can cut them in half, or you can just throw them in a bag. You'll defrost them later, and then the only way you're going to really cook those up is by putting them on a cookie sheet and putting them in the oven. Those are the only ones I freeze. Cynthia Degg, have I eaten sweet potato vines? The Asians do, but I've not tried. No, I never have, but you are correct. It's, was it the Philippines? Filipinos or Koreans? I'm not sure. It's almost a delicacy. Sweet potato vines are like, they'll go crazy. They'll think you're nuts for throwing away sweet potato vines. And it is 10 o'clock. All right, which means I made it, which means I can go to bed now. So, all right, guys, that's it, but I'm exhausted. So we will see you all tomorrow morning. Have a good night. Pinball out.